Tony Basilio, welcome back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I hope you're doing well.
T-Town, my friend, T-Town. Great to be on with you. Thanks for inviting me, man.
Hey, no doubt. And listen, just before, obviously, we do a show, it's very similar. We're trying to be fan-friendly, and I see the official voice of the common fan in Knoxville. That's awesome.
You know, I just love people, and when I'm not doing what I'm doing, we have watch parties and stuff. So for football season, for instance, that day we had played down in Tuscaloosa this past year, for instance, we were doing our thing. We had a watch party, so that was 4 hours long. I was there an hour before that, and then we went like 5.5 hours afterwards talking about the game. So it was about a 12-hour day for me, and all being around people, you know, the whole time. And people that aren't in our industry don't understand how grueling that is, but to me it's energizing because I just enjoy people. I came from a big family, and my earliest memories of watching sports were being huddled in a little room and my uncle's coming over and the whole deal. So glad to be here with you.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and I learned a lot of things, the way that you connected with your fans when you would do Periscope, when you would go through the interaction, and sometimes you have to do that. You're the outlet of venting, and certainly I like the way that you connected with the fans. Tony, let's go back to last night about 7 o'clock here, local time in Tuscaloosa. I'm cruising through Twitter, checking to make sure any updates, and I see the name Butch Jones pop up and the connection with Nick Saban. And I wanted to reach out to you when you hear that the possibility of coming to Tuscaloosa as an offensive analyst, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
What is Saban doing? And then from a talk show host standpoint, manna from heaven. So really, there's two answers to that.
Okay.
For one thing, I know that this is like for a $35,000 a year position, whatever. On a serious note, I can't help but wonder if this is a solid that's being asked of Saban from the agent. They share an agent in Jimmy Sexton. Let me tell you something. Butch Jones, he likes to fashion himself as some kind of coach, and he was walking around here saying, "No, we're going to regret that," and and I'm going to find me a job. But you're not finding yourself a job because you're a damn joke, and that ain't happening. I mean, Butch Jones has as much chance of getting a Power 5 coaching job in the next couple of years as I do. I mean, he ran this thing so far off the tracks that it's unrecognizable. And it wasn't exactly in great shape when he took it. So there's that.
So we started going through the offensive.
But the other side of it,
no, I'm sorry.
Comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine Nick Saban trying to deal with that clown?
No.
What that would be like behind the scenes? Because I would want to see that. In fact, I would buy a ticket to that.
I don't know if he could even abide by the rules of Nick Saban. I mean, it would be. I mean, Nick Saban would become sort of kind of part of the punchline, right? I mean, brick by brick, and all the different life champions and all the different things that Butch Jones tries to say.
Well, it's just. I mean, the whole thing about Butch Jones is comical because he fashions himself as he's some kind of football expert, and guys that have been around him, guys on his staff who can talk freely now, say he knows so little about that game that it's almost scary. I mean, you're talking about a guy who had a cup of coffee as a coordinator, and he just knows so little about what he's talking about. And I don't know about you, but I've encountered people in my life that talk a lot and generally talk about themselves a lot. And those are the people that know the smallest amount. You name the subject. And I have people who just kind of go about their deal and do their thing and don't need to put themselves over. And those are the people that generally are the good ones. And Butch Jones, you talk about all hat and no cattle. What would Nick Saban, besides doing a favor for the agent, which that might be what this is, because I can't figure out what else there would be. Because this guy couldn't even be an offensive quality control coach, no offense to him. He knows so little about what he's doing. No offense. I don't mean to offend him. Hope Hope I'm not offending anybody here.
No. I mean, really, what we've done is we've done a show for the last 3 hours talking about what Butch Jones would bring. And the best we could come up with is a guy that would be in charge of new trash cans all over the Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's all we can come up with.
Well, there is slogans, and if they have an advertising campaign, he could be pretty helpful in that. It was a slogan a week. Of course, none of it meant anything. But here's a guy, like I was telling you, this guy here was telling people, I'm going to, I'll get a Power 5 job, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, literally brought Tennessee to their first ever 8-loss season. You'd have to try to lose 8 games in Knoxville. That seems impossible, especially in the league you have now. But it isn't like the SEC is full of world beaters. I mean, I never thought I'd live to see a day where I'd say this with a straight face. SEC basketball is a better league top to bottom than the football deal. How is that possible? How is that possible? Explain that to me.
It's commitment back to elite coaches in the league.
No question. Everybody's running from the guy in Tuscaloosa. That's the deal. All the elite guys are running from him, even though the money's so great here. But those guys still want to win. They still want the ego stroke, and they know they're going to get popped when they don't win in the league. And it's probably a smart move to stay away from him.
Tony, I want to go back to what you said about, and I'll add this to it, and if you and I want to exchange numbers, I know we have already exchanged texts, but I'll share this guy. Maybe you can get him on the show. I had a former player, high football IQ, who pulled me to the side one time, and he talked about Butch Jones. He said, I'm telling you, when I watch Tennessee play, I'm embarrassed for Butch Jones. He said, I'm talking about so elementary on scheme-wise. He said, we were doing some of that stuff in junior high. Some of the elementary schemes that he ran there at Tennessee. He goes, I feel sorry for that fan base. They deserve better than what Butch Jones has given them.
I'm telling you, this guy was beyond a joke. I mean, and it's, the craziest thing about that profession is in both those revenue sports is the amount of money they make, and I call it failure money. These agents tie these schools up on the front end, and then once you make that deal, you've made that deal. I'd love to fail like that, wouldn't you?
Oh,
wouldn't you love to get paid like that to fail?
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome.
And at that point, who cares? And that's where we are right now. I mean, Sean Miller, the word is he's going to make like $12, $13 million to get caught with his hand in the cookie jar. What a life that is. But Butch Jones, I feel so sorry for Butch Jones in terms of how much football he just doesn't know. And he just doesn't know. I mean, and what he doesn't know, he doesn't know. I mean, he's really bad.
Well, I mean, Tony,
I don't know what Alabama would do with him. I really don't. I'm not kidding here when I say this. I have no idea what Alabama would do with that guy. Tony, why would you bring him into your deal?
Maybe he's coming here as a GA, and he'll pay tuition to the Nick Saban Academy.
I'm telling you right now, I said this on the show today, and I'm not kidding, on my show. It would be a smart move for Butch Jones if he did go in there, to go in there and buckle down and learn some football. If that's the field he wants to go into. And I am not being glib. I'm not being funny when I say that. I'm being 100% on the level with you here. That'd be a great guy to learn from. No doubt about it.
Tony, what's been the first couple of months with Jeremy Pruitt there in Knoxville? What's it been like?
Very quiet. Very quiet. I don't think Jeremy Pruitt's too into the media thing. I don't think he's too into the visibility deal. I don't think he's too into the fan interaction deal. And to be honest with you, I don't know how that plays here long term. I guess that remains to be seen. He's pretty confident, though, isn't he? He's a pretty confident fella. So I guess we'll see what happens.
A high football IQ, though. I mean, the guy is he may not, and I've always noticed it with him as far as media. When we would get opportunities, he wouldn't come in and hit a home run. But you talk to the players, and they would stand at the gates of hell and defend this guy.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. And I was telling you that he's just not a warm, fuzzy guy, which is going to be interesting from a football coach here. He doesn't even pretend to be a warm, fuzzy guy. And I don't know how that works here. That's going to be interesting to see how that whole dynamic with this fan base, with what this fan base has been through, what that whole deal is going to be like here. But we'll see. Because so much about these jobs now is being a public face and doing all the public stuff and being the smiley face, and you know that. And Saban gets away with not doing that. Urban Meyer got away with that at Florida when he was down there. You've got to really, really win for that to be your approach. It's kind of like me and the way you keep turning me down. I'm trying to be a good sport about it here,
Hey, Tony, real quick, let me ask you about the jersey. Did you like that move from Jeremy Pruitt with the jersey and saying, hey, we don't need any of this comic stuff?
I love that. In fact, there you go. That might be what Butch Jones brings to Alabama, an alt jersey.
No.
Alt jersey designer. Hey, smoky gray Bama jerseys, something like a charcoal gray on red, or would look awesome. The crimson and gray. Let's get that started.
No. Listen, these phone lines will melt down if you even try to touch the crimson jersey.
If they hire him, and Saban continues to win national championships, I'll be convinced that Saban's from another planet. Because just the presence of Butch Jones alone should be worth minus 10 points to that organization week in and week out.
Hey, Tony, real quick, give me the win total expectation for you, for your alma mater there in Knoxville.
You know what's funny? I don't even know what's on that football team. I don't know if you've heard, but the best football player here, Trey Smith, has a medical condition that's going to keep him out of the spring.
Ooh.
And from what I'm hearing, probably a whole lot longer. And so that's just a terrible shame. You know what's hard to tell is how much talent was on the roster the last couple of years just wasn't used. Or were they really that bad? And there's no way of knowing until they're competently coached, which I do believe they'll be competently coached by the staff that Pruitt's assembled. And so I would say to you, not meaning to cop out here, but ask me that question in July. Based on the talent that was on the roster last year, it would be a nice season if they went 6-6 this time around, coming off a 4-win year and having some losses.
Yeah, but Tony, the SEC needs Tennessee to be good.
No question.
They need Tennessee, one of the blue bloods of this league. They need Tennessee to be good.
Just like college football needed Alabama to be good when they slid. Same thing. You got to have your signature programs, your historical programs have to matter. It was no fun when Alabama fell into disrepair and Tennessee was beating them time and time again. Now, it's no fun right now being on Tennessee's side of things, but you never want to see your rival fall that far in the pit, because then when you play them, it doesn't have any meaning. It just doesn't, it's almost like it becomes second nature. Boy, those Tennessee-Alabama games when both teams are clicking and both teams are near the top, those are some fun memories, man. Fun memories. Great football games. And you're right, the league does need Tennessee, and this poor fan base, they have been through just sheer torture. I mean, that coaching search, you were talking about the periscopes and things we were doing. See, I have an app, so I'm afforded the opportunity to, and a studio in my house, so I'm afforded the opportunity to fire that thing up whenever I want to. The night the Shiano thing happened, we were on the air for about 10 hours. That week, the 2.5 weeks leading up to the hire, we were on for 3 or 4 days over 10 hours. One day we went 11 hours. And it was just crazy. We were getting calls from all over the world. People just torn apart. People have never heard my voice before, just torn apart by what was going on. It's sad when the people that are entrusted with these programs, and this goes back to the front of our conversation, sad when they don't care about them the way the fans do. That's all us fans want. all I want from an athlete is just try. You can win, you want to lose, whatever. Try your best. And from these administrators, man, take care of it the way that I would take care of it. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Tony, final thing. My fans told me, and they challenged my manhood, that I would not remind Tennessee fans it's been 4,147 days since the last time Tennessee beat Alabama. They challenged my manhood that I would not say that to you.
Well, damn it. I don't know what's worse, the fact that my freaking smartphone is stupid or the fact that it's been how many days?
4,147 days.
That's damn obscene. That kind of urinates me off, to be honest with you.
That's why we need Tennessee back. We need Tennessee back.
And I'm afraid it's going to be another. Let's say 365, 600 and some odd days before we get a crack at it. So it's going to. It might look like the national debt before it's done. You know, Saban stays down there.